Some machines arrive with a quiet confidence. Others appear like they have stepped out of a sketchbook meant for a faraway decade. Every so often, a design comes along that makes riders rethink what a long highway stretch or a slow city glide should feel like. Not through louder power figures or headline-grabbing specs, but through a presence that challenges the idea of what a modern cruiser can be. This story begins with a shape that seemed almost cinematic. A silhouette that asked whether the future was something you rode toward or something you sat down inside. It is a reminder that innovation is not always about raw acceleration. Sometimes it is about having the courage to create something that looks nothing like the familiar. If you enjoy deep dives into the most ambitious ideas on two wheels, remember to like and subscribe, and comment with the next topic you want covered. The Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 enters the conversation as a machine that challenged nearly every expectation surrounding a cruiser in the US market. Its presence is so visually unconventional that even seasoned riders needed a moment to process what Honda had decided to build. The bike arrived at a moment when manufacturers were experimenting with crossover ideas, blending commuter practicality with long-distance comfort and sharp-edged styling cues that hinted at a speculative future. The NM4 Vultus 2014 represented Honda's attempt to answer a question that few brands were asking out loud, which was whether a production motorcycle could borrow heavily from concept art without compromising the fundamentals of daily usability. To understand why the NM4 Vultus 2014 exists in the form it does, it helps to step back and examine the early 2010s landscape. Commuter-friendly mid-size machines were gaining popularity, the automatic transmission debate was heating up, and a wave of younger riders was starting to treat motorcycles as lifestyle statements as much as practical tools. Honda recognized this shift and pursued a strategy built around distinct silhouettes that stood apart from classic shapes. The company applied that philosophy to scooters, sport tourers, and hybrid commuter platforms. But the NM4 Vultus 2014 was the most extreme expression of that strategy. Its stretched front fairing, dramatic side panels, and low angular seating position created an immediate reaction, and that reaction was exactly the point. Honda wanted a motorcycle that forced its audience to re-evaluate what a mid-size cruiser could look like. Much of the NM4 Vultus 2014's appeal lies in the idea that the rider becomes part of the machine. The integrated rider backrest, the cockpit-like dash layout, and the enveloping bodywork created a semi-enclosed experience that no rival was offering at the time. Honda bet that this immersive design would attract riders seeking a futuristic personal transport vibe without committing to the size or weight of a full touring platform. The decision to pair a 670 cubic centimeters parallel twin with a dual-clutch transmission was equally intentional, offering a smooth and predictable power delivery that emphasized approachability. The NM4 Vultus 2014 was not intended as a performance benchmark. Instead, it was built to deliver consistency and ease in real-world conditions, from congested downtown stretches to long highway runs that demanded stable aerodynamics more than explosive output. By making the dual-clutch transmission standard, Honda pushed the conversation forward about how commuting and recreational riding might evolve. The company believed that a broader audience would discover motorcycles if the learning curve for shifting and clutch control were softened. The NM4 Vultus 2014 embodied that philosophy through every mechanical choice. The low center of gravity enhanced balance at slow speeds, the fuel-efficient engine prioritized range and practicality, and the ergonomic focus allowed riders to settle in rather than brace against fatigue. All of this made the motorcycle fundamentally different from traditional cruisers, which typically relied on displacement, chrome presence, or classic silhouettes to establish identity. Honda was reaching for something closer to a personal mobility statement, a machine that communicated a different view of the riding experience. In the US market, where cruiser culture has deep roots in nostalgia and customization, this approach was risky. Many riders were not sure how to categorize the NM4 Vultus 2014, which hovered between commuter, tourer, and experimental cruiser with no direct competitor to frame expectations. Honda understood that risk and leaned into it. The company wanted a bike that stood out instantly on dealership floors, sparking curiosity even among riders who had never considered an automatic motorcycle. The cockpit-style dashboard further cemented that ambition. Instead of minimalist gauges, the NM4 Vultus 2014 used a multi-layered digital display that felt closer to a futuristic vehicle interface, bridging the gap between traditional analog cues and modern digital interaction. The sitting posture reinforced this hybrid identity. The adjustable backrest allowed riders to recline slightly, creating a more laid-back posture than a typical commuter machine, while still offering enough forward control to feel connected during longer rides. Honda also aimed to capture attention through customization potential. The bodywork allowed for bold color contrasts, and the modular seat design opened opportunities for rider-specific adjustments that aligned with the growing demand for personalization. However, what truly set the NM4 Vultus 2014 apart was how it made riders feel as if they were piloting a concept vehicle rather than riding a conventional motorcycle. The machine looked like something that should have appeared in a futuristic film rather than a showroom. That theatrical presence was not accidental. Honda believed that the next generation of riders would respond to dramatic, expressive designs that broke free from classic cruiser language. At the same time, the company needed to ensure that the bike was not merely an art piece but a functional everyday platform. The NM4 Vultus 2014 had to prove itself on real roads with real riders evaluating comfort, maneuverability, reliability, and practicality. The result was a machine that carried a unique dual identity. It looked extraordinary but behaved predictably, combining an unconventional exterior with a very accessible riding character. For many riders, that contrast became the defining trait of the NM4 Vultus 2014. It challenged expectations while delivering a surprisingly calm and confidence-building experience during everyday use. The motorcycle did not attempt to win over riders seeking maximum horsepower. Instead, it aimed to appeal to those who valued presence, comfort, and technology that simplified the ride. As its reputation grew, the NM4 Vultus 2014 developed a niche following among riders who wanted something unmistakably different yet still grounded in Honda's reputation for reliability. This blend helped the bike maintain relevance even as trends shifted. The more you study the design and engineering choices behind the NM4 Vultus 2014, the clearer the picture becomes. Honda wanted to create a rolling interpretation of futurism that did not sacrifice real-world sensibility. That vision, whether embraced or resisted, ensured that the motorcycle would remain one of the most distinctive entries in Honda's lineup. It demonstrated how far a manufacturer could stretch the definition of a cruiser without abandoning usability. By examining these foundations, we begin to see the larger motivations behind Honda's decisions and how the NM4 Vultus 2014 represented a bold step into a different design philosophy. This deeper understanding forms the backbone of how the machine earned its place in modern motorcycle culture. The Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 returns to center stage in this segment as a study in how ambitious styling, unconventional ergonomics, and a commitment to accessible technology created one of the most polarizing motorcycles of its decade. With its otherworldly aesthetic fully visible, the next question becomes why Honda believed this approach could resonate with American riders. Understanding the motivations behind the Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 requires examining how consumer behavior was shifting. Younger riders were gravitating toward machines that felt expressive, personal, and forward-looking, while traditional cruiser buyers continued to prefer familiar silhouettes that reflected long-standing heritage cues. Honda chose to build a bridge between these worlds through a machine that carried the emotional appeal of a futuristic concept while maintaining the predictable manners of an everyday commuter. The dual-clutch transmission was central to this strategy, offering the simplicity of twist-and-go operation without abandoning the feeling of controlled engagement. Although the power numbers were modest, Honda understood that a smooth torque curve, steady throttle response, and the relaxed delivery of the 670 cubic centimeters engine would be appreciated by riders who valued calm confidence over peak force. This balance set the stage for deeper mechanical and design decisions that made the NM4 Vultus 2014 stand out as more than a styling exercise. It became a platform that demonstrated how rider experience could be shaped through form and function working together. A major component of the Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 design language was the way the bike surrounded the rider. Instead of placing the rider on top of the machine, Honda created a cockpit that felt integrated, allowing body position and machine shape to flow into one cohesive experience. The low seat height increased accessibility for a wide range of riders. It anchored the rider in a stable position that improved balance at stops and allowed easy foot placement on urban streets. The broad front fairing did more than deliver a dramatic silhouette. It provided notable wind protection, channeling airflow around the rider with fewer turbulent pockets than a typical mid-size cruiser. Storage solutions were another important factor. Honda included practical compartments within the side fairings, delivering a nod to scooter-like functionality without compromising the motorcycle identity. These features illustrated Honda's belief that the modern rider was seeking a hybrid experience, something that blended confidence, convenience, and standout design into a single package. The NM4 Vultus 2014 was shaped around that idea, and the riding experience proved the point. The chassis delivered gentle steering input, while the suspension offered compliance that kept the bike comfortable during long highway runs. This combination reinforced the notion that Honda did not build the motorcycle strictly for show. It was engineered to perform reliably under daily conditions, making the styling more than a visual statement. The Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 invited discussion about what a cruiser could become. Many riders expected cruisers to emphasize sound, displacement, and long visual lines that referenced earlier eras. Honda challenged that expectation through sharply angled bodywork and an almost geometric approach to mass distribution. The flowing sections were replaced by layered panels that created a sculpted look. This design forced riders to consider whether a cruiser must conform to a legacy shape or whether it could take on a new identity shaped by modern materials and evolving tastes. The strategic use of matte finishes and subtle contrasts gave the NM4 Vultus 2014 an understated confidence that worked in tandem with its low stance. Even at rest, the machine looked like it was waiting for ignition to bring it fully alive. Lighting technology added to the effect. The LED headlight arrangement provided a sharp signature that could be recognized instantly at night, while rear lighting emphasized the bike's wide posture. Honda viewed lighting not just as a safety feature but as an extension of the visual impact. Every illuminated surface reinforced the futuristic theme without overwhelming practical considerations. This level of detail revealed the depth of thought underlying the motorcycle. Nothing about the presentation was accidental. Mechanically, the Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 was built around real-world durability. The 670 cubic centimeters engine, shared with commuter-focused platforms, prioritized efficiency and manageable heat output. The dual-clutch transmission, in its second generation at the time, delivered refined shifting logic with multiple modes that adapted to rider preference. It offered consistent behavior in city traffic and predictable transitions when merging onto faster roads. The chassis geometry supported this balance. Stability was prioritized over razor-sharp agility, allowing riders to feel secure during extended cruises. Honda tuned the suspension for a mix of compliance and support. While not aimed at aggressive cornering, it handled typical road conditions with comfort and composure. Braking performance matched its intended use. Strong initial bite combined with controlled modulation helped riders feel confident in unpredictable traffic environments. All of these decisions showed that Honda was not chasing extremes. Instead, the company was assembling a package that would appeal to riders who wanted a stress-free experience wrapped in a futuristic shape. Where the Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 most clearly divided opinion was in how it presented identity. Some riders saw the bike as a daring leap forward, while others viewed it as an outlier that did not align with traditional expectations. The contrast between appearance and engine output created a point of discussion. Some believed the machine should have carried more displacement to match its visual presence, while others appreciated the approachable nature of the powertrain. This tension highlighted a broader question in motorcycle culture. Should design follow performance expectations, or is it acceptable for form and function to diverge when creating a new genre? The NM4 Vultus 2014 asked riders to consider this balance. Honda embraced the idea that a striking visual identity could coexist with a mechanically modest platform if the execution was thoughtful. The result was a motorcycle that defied easy categorization. It was neither a traditional cruiser nor a pure commuter, neither a touring rig nor a sport machine. Instead, it occupied a new space that encouraged riders to think differently about what riding experiences could look like in a rapidly changing market. The Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 steps into this final segment as a motorcycle whose story extends far beyond its sales numbers. While many machines are remembered for performance milestones or competitive achievements, this one earned its place through influence, imagination, and the way it reshaped expectations about what a mid-size cruiser could represent. The cultural footprint of the Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 began forming almost immediately after its release. Riders who might never have looked twice at a traditional cruiser found themselves intrigued by a machine that looked like it belonged in an advanced urban landscape. That intrigue became part of its legacy. The bike ignited conversations about the future of personal mobility, sparked debate among designers and engineers, and allowed Honda to refine ideas that would later influence design direction across several categories. The motorcycle functioned as both a product and a signal. It showed that expressive, futuristic aesthetics could be integrated into a practical platform without isolating the everyday rider. The Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 also demonstrated that identity-focused machines could thrive even when they did not dominate in volume. Its appeal to niche audiences reinforced the idea that emotional connection can define a model's legacy as strongly as commercial success. Riders who embraced the bike appreciated its ability to stand out without relying on high-output performance or traditional cruiser cues. Instead, it offered presence, comfort, and a sense of personal expression. Over time, this solidified its reputation as a machine that rewarded individuality. Owning one became a statement about choosing something that aligned with personal style rather than convention. Honda's willingness to build such a machine created an important precedent. It showed that a manufacturer with global reach could take creative risks in the interest of design exploration. As years passed, the Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 began to influence the conversation around what futuristic design should look like in an age where technology and personal transportation were converging. The rise of electrified platforms, advanced interfaces, and integrated rider assistance systems created demand for styling that felt forward-looking. Many new platforms began adopting sharper lines, sculpted surfaces, and cockpit-like layouts that echoed the approach pioneered by the NM4 Vultus 2014. This shift suggests that Honda's bold experiment arrived before the broader market was ready but served as a preview of what was to come. The bike's confident use of LED lighting, angular bodywork, and immersive ergonomics helped normalize ideas that are far more common today in concept machines and emerging production models. Another dimension of the Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 legacy lies in how it expanded the conversation around rider inclusivity. The low seat height, stable geometry, and easy-to-manage power delivery invited a wide range of riders to experience a machine that looked dramatically different yet felt approachable. This combination helped reframe the idea that futuristic style must be paired with extreme performance or intimidating size. The bike proved that accessibility and dramatic design could coexist. For many riders, this was transformative. It offered a way to enjoy bold aesthetics without sacrificing everyday comfort or confidence, reinforcing the idea that motorcycle design can be both imaginative and welcoming. The Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 also found an unusual second life as a pop culture icon. Its appearance in creative media, often without explicit branding, reflected its ability to fit naturally into futuristic settings. This presence helped introduce the motorcycle to audiences who were not yet riders but appreciated the visual language. Its shape became recognizable even outside motorcycle circles. This cultural reinforcement contributed to its lasting identity. The bike became shorthand for a particular vision of future mobility, one that feels more relevant each year as cities evolve and transportation needs shift. From a market perspective, the Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 served as an internal tuning fork for Honda. It allowed the company to test reactions to experimental thinking and understand how far customers were willing to explore unconventional designs. The lessons learned influenced future projects. Honda refined its approach to digital instrumentation, rethought body integration, and applied insights from the NM4 Vultus 2014 to later development programs that blended utility with expressive design. The model served as a creative anchor, reminding engineers and designers that innovation sometimes emerges from bold risks rather than incremental refinement. Collectors and enthusiasts have begun revisiting the Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 with renewed interest. Its limited production window, distinct styling, and unconventional identity make it appealing to riders who seek machines that represent specific cultural moments. As electric motorcycles and hybrid mobility platforms become more prevalent, the NM4 Vultus 2014 stands as a bridge between traditional combustion and the emerging future. It showcased how futuristic form could coexist with conventional mechanical foundations. This positioning enhances its long-term appeal. The bike becomes a snapshot of a transitional era where manufacturers were exploring new ideas without abandoning established engineering. In many ways, the Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 was a machine designed for tomorrow rather than today. Its visual language resonated with audiences who appreciated bold stylistic moves, while its mechanical simplicity served a practical function. That blend, unusual for its time, now appears aligned with broader industry trends. The motorcycle's legacy, therefore, is not defined by how many units it sold but by how it challenged perceptions and nudged the industry toward a more expressive future. The NM4 Vultus 2014 will be remembered as a machine that encouraged riders and manufacturers alike to consider how innovation in design could shape the emotional and functional experience of riding. The lasting impact of the Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 lies in its ability to inspire conversation. It remains a symbol of creative ambition and a reminder that motorcycle design can evolve in unexpected ways. It pushed the boundaries of what a mid-size cruiser could look like and proved that imagination can be a powerful force in shaping the direction of modern mobility. By embracing both practicality and bold styling, the NM4 Vultus 2014 carved out a legacy that continues to influence how riders and designers think about the future of two-wheeled transportation. The Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 closes this exploration as a motorcycle that proved imagination can be a legitimate engineering objective. The bike stood apart from familiar cruiser expectations by offering a shape and riding character that challenged riders to rethink what comfort, identity, and forward-looking design could feel like on real roads. By examining its origins, its layered design philosophy, and the engineering choices that shaped its personality, it becomes clear that Honda approached the NM4 Vultus 2014 as more than a product. It was a creative test case meant to gauge how modern riders respond to bold stylistic statements paired with a steady, approachable mechanical foundation. The machine delivered an unusually immersive cockpit, a low and confidence-inspiring stance, a smooth dual-clutch transmission, and a dramatic silhouette that offered a sense of futuristic presence without overwhelming the practical needs of daily transportation. This balance remains one of the motorcycle's defining qualities. What makes the Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 particularly memorable is the way it blended functionality with expressive design in a period when many manufacturers were still cautious about stepping away from familiar shapes. It demonstrated that a mid-size cruiser could carry an unconventional identity while still supporting long commutes, weekend rides, and relaxed urban navigation. Riders who gravitated toward the NM4 Vultus 2014 often appreciated its individuality, its comfort-oriented ergonomics, and its ability to provide a personal sense of style that was difficult to match at its price point. These qualities helped the motorcycle develop a niche following that has only grown as the industry shifts toward more advanced aesthetic themes. The model's legacy continues as electric platforms, digitally focused interfaces, and next-generation commuter machines draw closer to the visual territory that the NM4 Vultus 2014 explored early. Its influence can be seen in the rising acceptance of angular lines, integrated bodywork, and cockpit-centric rider environments. For enthusiasts and future collectors, the motorcycle represents a snapshot of a transitional era when manufacturers were probing the limits of design while maintaining dependable mechanical roots. This blend enhances its long-term appeal. The Honda NM4 Vultus 2014 stands as a reminder that innovation is often measured not by volume but by the strength of its ideas. It showed that a mid-size cruiser can succeed by offering calm performance, strong comfort, and a presence that invites riders into a vision of tomorrow. If you enjoyed this deep dive, like and subscribe, and comment with the next machine you want covered.